Welcome to the Book Boyfriend podcast, where we dish on everything from the alpha male to the sensitive soul. If you found yourself lusting after a fictional character, you've come to the right place. Here's your hosts, Faith Andrews, Elizabeth Grace, Livia Jamerland, and B.A. Wolf.
Oh my God, Lee's running up and down the stairs.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, action!
Hey everybody, and welcome to episode 22 of the Book Boyfriend podcast. Tonight it's just Livia and I, and we want to chat about Stuck Up Suit by Penelope Ward and by Keeland. These two are like this powerhouse team, and it's easy to see why. It's been a fan favorite and New York Times bestseller for a few weeks now, so we had to pick it up and see what all the fuss was about. And the suit is definitely something to talk about. So we're really excited about this. Sorry that the other girls aren't joining us. That bitch Babs has been in Hawaii for like a month, it seems. And Elle is finishing up writing because you guys are torturing her to finish up book 2 in her duet because she left us all hanging in hook. So we'll give them an excuse for tonight. So without further ado, Liv is going to give us the setup of this sexy book. All you, Liv.
All right, guys, so I don't want to spoil the book for you. So I'm going to put it to you like this. Soraya, she works for an advice column. Graham is a very, very wealthy man that she happens to meet on a train. She doesn't want to meet him on a train, or she just bumps into him. Faith is going to get into the meet cute, so I really don't want to talk about that. I want to set up the book. So Soraya has dyes, she dyes the tips of her hair random different colors. Graham comes from a different inner circle than she does. Soraya has tattoos all over her body and has a piercing. Graham is in a 3,000 tailored suit. They come from completely different worlds, and of course they meet on the train, and this relationship between them kind of just sparks. He's so used to getting what she wants, and she refuses to cave. So, of course, since she works for Ida, this advice columnist, he decides to write into Ida, and she's the one who gives the responses. Back and forth. Of course, the relationship blooms and you kind of fall head over heels for Graham and you're rooting for her the whole entire time because she's not the girl he falls for. And of course, you get to see both sides of their POVs and you're hooked from the beginning. So that's kind of the setup of the book. Of course, there's going to be tons of plot twists and whatnot. And trust me, you know this book is sitting at like the New York Times bestselling list. You know that V and Penelope are killing it right now. So of course, you don't want me to, completely spoil it for you. So that's what I'm going to give it to you. They're complete polar opposites. You would never see her with a man like him. You would see him with the beautiful blonde or the beautiful brunette that, they have the summers in the Hamptons. You see her at her best friend's tattoo parlor getting tattoos and piercing her tongue because she's bored and dyeing the tips of her hair green. That's just the kind of person she is. She's funky, she's punky, she's funky, and is filled with snark. So you guys are going to love, love, love this book. So Faith, why don't you kick it back and tell us about the meet cute of the infamous train ride that was absolutely the hook of the book.
Okie dokie. Okay, so Soraya is riding this train to work one morning. She spots this sexy, cocky-looking stranger in an impeccable suit. She's instantly aware of his hotness, but she knows she's totally not his type. She has tattoos and colorful hair, just like Liv said, and they just don't go hand in hand with a polished designer suit-wearing businessman. So the suit drops his phone on the train. Let's just not even go there because I just want to know how he got by. Did that ever go in your head? Like, how did he get by all those days without the phone? But we won't go there.
That's what I was thinking. I'm like, oh my goodness,
he's like a businessman. How does he not miss it? So anyway, she picks this phone up and she decides she's going to return it to him. But first, she wants to do some snooping. She doesn't find out too much, but she sees a few pictures of him with an older blue-haired woman, like an old biddy, and an adorable, cute little white puppy. So she's making her own assumptions of this guy, and she's searching for a way to get in touch with him to return it to him. And she decides, let me dial the first contact that comes up alphabetically. And it's this woman, I think her name is Avery, right?
Yes.
And so she picks up the phone, and she kind of describes the dilemma. And basically her few choice words for Mr. Stuck-Up Suit are, do yourself a favor, throw the phone in the river, don't waste your time returning it to the jerk.
That was the best part of the,
yeah.
I literally stopped and, laughed out loud because she's, giving her directions, right? So we're going to set this up for you. She calls Avery, the first person on the list, and she's like, I'm going to give you directions. You're going to get on this train, and then you're going to walk to this block, and you're going to go here. And then Soraya goes, wait, isn't that the East River? She goes, yeah, take that phone and throw it in there. Best line ever.
Yeah, it was funny. And then you're wondering, oh my God, what the frig is this guy's problem that everybody hates him? So instead of doing what she's told, she marches herself right up to this upscale, wealthy office building, struts herself right past his secretary, comes in unannounced, hell-bent on returning what belongs to him. Graham will not even come out of his office to greet her. So what does she do? She kind of flips him off through the intercom, and instead of just leaving the phone there, she leaves him with a parting gift. She takes a couple of snapshots, a couple of selfies of her cleavage and giving him the finger, and it could just go and leave at that, but of course it doesn't. What does Graham do? He is completely enamored and intrigued by this beautiful set of tits and this girl's take-no-bull sassiness. So he winds up taking the train a couple of days a week, even though he doesn't have to. He has a driver. He doesn't have to do that. And he figures out who Soraya is because she has a tattoo on her foot that was shown in one of the pictures, one of the selfies. And that begins their journey. And I can't begin to tell you how mismatched these two are, but you would never know that because as stuck up as Graham is, she does something to him and vice versa. So again, without giving anything away, that's pretty much the very beginning of the book. There are tons of twists and turns. You're like, what? Where is that coming from? And it's plain to see why, everybody's drooling over this book. So I think we should talk a little bit about the first impression of Graham. Liv, you want to take it away for a little bit?
So we're the tri-state girls in the podcast, right? So you have Faith and I live in New Jersey, Faith lives in New York. And so the stuck-up suit in the train is kind of a common thing if you're going into the city. They're all over the train. So I keep picturing what he would be like, that arrogant asshole on the phone, ugh. And I'm like, when I got to it, when I first started reading the book, I thought it was going to be about the one guy that she kisses in the very beginning. You have to read it. I don't want to spoil it for you. It's actually funny. But, high-pitched Mitch with an itch. She's running away from him. So I'm very used to the arrogant assholes on the train, but the way she described him, it was that, he was like a lion. I know we're going to talk about that because I think that's in your I Wish I Wrote That.
Yeah.
And the way she describes him, he's this beast that he's just so beautiful to look at, but if you go anywhere near him, he's just going to bite you. So he was completely arrogant and definitely my type of guy. Hello, Penelope wrote Alec, and everybody knows how much I love that asshole.
That's right.
What were your thoughts?
There's a mention, did you see that there was a mention of him in the book?
Yes, I did see that.
He wrote into the
Dear Ida.
What's her name? Wrote into the...
Greta wrote into Dear Ida.
It was so funny. But, okay, yeah, so kind of like what Liv is saying, and the one line that I was talking about that she was talking about that I think kind of summed up the first impression is a line from the book. And Soraya says, he was like a lion, the type of species best admired from afar, whereby any actual contact could lead to irreparable harm. I thought Graham was stuck up, but then again, I was kind of surprised by the photos that Soraya finds on his phone. Any guy, no matter how pricky, that can love his blue-haired granny and a little white puppy has to have a heart. So I like that these two were both strong-willed and didn't take each other's bullshit, but I also love that Graham was so drawn to Soraya, even though she was far from his type and someone not willing to bow down to his every command. I mean, something like that. It was what was pulling him to her? Obviously, he's not used to walking around with someone who has blue hair tips and stuff like that. So, yeah, that was my first impression. He wasn't as cocky as Avery made him out to be for me, but yeah. What was it they called him? Mr. Big Prick?
Mr. Big Prick.
Yeah. So he definitely he owns up to that reputation more at work for me. If you saw him at work, he never knew his secretary's name ever. He went to secretary after secretary.
What is her name?
Yeah. And they would run away crying, literally leave crying. So definitely he was like that, but he was not like that with her. So he kind of melted my heart in that way. So, and speaking of melting, how about most swoon-worthy moment? You want to go, Liv, since I'm chatting everybody's ear off here?
Yes. So my most swoon-worthy moment is he's kind of professing himself to her. And though you probably would have expected a little bit more of a sexier kind of scene, he says to her, "Let me tell you something, Soraya. I may not be the nicest guy on the planet or even the best fit for you. In fact, I know I'm not. But you can't deny what's going on between us. There's only one way to end this. And what's that?" she says. "Me buried deep inside of you." Bam! I was completely hooked on that. Because you don't get that really... This book wasn't like he was very demanding or very, like, alpha or whatever. Yeah, he was a cocky... I keep saying cocky bastard, but that's, like, terrible because that was their first book. But that's what he is. He's that stuck-up suit. And it's, you know, the name of it is actually really perfect. He's stuck up and he's entitled and he feels that he's allowed to do these things. But what this book really didn't have was that crazy sex and the crazy this and the crazy that. So when you had him completely come up to her and demand things from her, which he never did. He was very sweet to her, very respecting, took her on a date. But that one scene, I was like, oh, yeah, Graham, I'm liking you there. What about you, Faith? What was your swoon-worthy moment?
Okay, it's kind of like basically what you're saying, that he was demanding. He confesses on the train to knowing who Soraya is. He tells her, "You have no idea how dangerous I am when I want something. I will stop at nothing to get it." And it wasn't so much of a swoon-worthy moment. It was more of like a hot damn moment. I was like, I don't know. I just love that he was so demanding in that way, but yet he was sweet. Like after that, he
jealous,
says,
really though, because he was jealous though because he was sitting on the train with her friend Tig, and he's really pissed, and he has no idea. Like he doesn't know that she knows that he knows. It was like an episode of Friends. Like they don't know that I know that he knows. Hashtag Friends episode, Barb, just for you. So, you know, he gets mad, and then the second Tig gets off for his stop, he sends her a text message. "Is that your boyfriend?" And, like, she looks up at him, and he looks down at her, and that's when they realize, oh, crap, we've just been spotted. Yeah. So, I found it was nice that he was, like, jealous out of nowhere because of a picture, right? Yes. He never had seen, he'd seen her, but only after the pictures. The pictures were what was making him crazy, wanting to be with her all the time.
Well, yeah, he had a full-on cleavage shot. I mean, he was
with a big fuck you on it. Like, that's what I kept picturing, like...
I mean, didn't he say he was, like, whacking off to that thing? So, like...
Yeah, like, they were having, like, phone sex. It was great.
Then they were texting each other. It was... Whatever. It was very... I honestly, like, I thought it was a very clever setup for a book, and I think it's clear to see why people liked it. It was definitely had a little bit of rom-com in there. There was some really funny parts, and especially like I was talking to Trish Mintz about it, and you too, because we're in the tri-state area. Like so much of their dialogue and what they were saying was like relatable. So yeah, I think it's definitely something everyone's going to enjoy. I mean, we posted this in the group before, and everybody's like, no one has not heard of it. I mean, if you have not heard of this book, where the hell have you been? So, I don't know.
Probably with Barb in Hawaii, because I mean...
Yeah, I wish. Freaking wish on a beach. Hashtag on a beach, bitch. God, we're bitter. We can't do this without them anymore. I'm getting bitter.
Yes, take me next time.
All right, so I guess that brings us to I Wish I Wrote That. And I guess I'll go first, because I had two. And... I've been really in this rom-com mood. So one of them is a rom-com funny thing, and one is just something that I thought was very clever. Soraya is evaluating how she feels about him and what he does to her, and her inner dialogue says, "For a split second, I tried to resist. I was an ice cube trying to fight the heat from the sun. It was impossible." And I thought that was such a great analogy. Like, as writers, we find it so hard to find an analogy that isn't so overdone, and I've never heard that before, so I thought that was great. And then this one was leaning towards the rom-com. This is in the very beginning, and she's basically giving us her background and talking about how she's had these epic relationship fails and whatever. And she says, "My life was far from Sex in the City. It was more like Sex in the Pity or Sex in the Shitty." And I just thought it was really cute. I found myself laughing out loud. I know it was cheesy, but it was really funny.
That was really cute.
It was cute.
My I Wish I Wrote That isn't necessarily a line, but it's more of a character. Yeah, it was really different because, like you said, it was filled with rom-com. It was filled with, little quirks, but nothing really caught my attention as the character Avery.
Okay.
She kind of really was one of those really nasty villains. And you didn't expect her to be the villain, but she is. And the way she just completely dropped little things for Soraya throughout the beginning and towards, the middle of the book when she meets her at the gala and then later on at the end of the book, I found that the way they wrote her, you couldn't hate her because, there wasn't really anything. She was just defending her best friend, but it was just, I don't know, she was just evil. Like, the way she dragged her cigarette, and then I loved how Soraya was like, well, you should really quit smoking because it gives you wrinkles. So I wish I wrote that. I'm going a little bit off the format here, and I'm going to pick a character. I really wish I could write a character as evil as Avery was.
Oh my God, I want to see you write evil.
No.
I totally want to see you write evil, Olivia. We need to bring that back.
No, I don't write evil. I write smut.
So write smutty evil. Evil smut. That could be a lot of fun. You could take out a lot of frustration that way.
I know. I know.
Oh my God. How are we going to do the second without Elle? How are we doing?
I came prepared.
She came prepared. So then I'll save you for last.
Yes, please.
Okay. For me, the guy on the cover is like pretty spot on. Yes. I don't know his name. I don't know who he is. But I'm going with my sexy suit wearing Matt Bomer because he's always who I picture as Christian Grey, and Christian Grey's always in a suit. And I totally picture him as being a smoldering stuck-up Graham. So I'm going with Matt Bomer. And now I'm dying to see your props.
Well, we clearly had a miscommunication because I picked Matt Bomer.
Get it right now! Yay!
So here is me and Graham. When I took his phone, I'm like, he was on the train, and he's all like, where the fuck's this? And da-da-da. I don't even know your name, Linda. You're fired. So this is my lovely, lovely, lovely Graham suit. And, sometimes when he wears his glasses for a really long time, his eyes get really tired, but he looks super hot in glasses.
Ooh,
right?
I forgot about that.
I just figured, Penelope making guys wearing glasses, hashtag I need the glasses, hashtag Alec and Graham. I mean...
What, an Alec and Graham sandwich? That would be nice.
Perfect, right? So that's that. And, this was when he was telling me, I really love you, and I want to be with you, and I'm like, I don't know, this is all kind of new, and you're like a suit, and he's like, but come on, Liv, I love you so much. You think I made Elle proud? Hashtag Elle, are you proud?
You totally made her proud.
Good.
You totally made her proud. Wow. Who needs them? Girls, who the frick needs you? We don't need you.
We don't need you. We got it from here. We got it from here.
We got it from here. All right, that brings us to Kiss, Marry, Do. And I'm such an idiot. I forgot to put Alec on here. So let's just put Alec in there because he's one of Penelope's guys. We'll put him in there. So if you want a last minute change up, remember that, Liv?
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you who I put in there. Quick add-in of Alec. Paul from How to Kill a Rockstar. Graham from Stuck Up Suit. Archer from Archer's Voice. Tristan from The Air He Breathes. And Hawk from Mystery Man. So, my choice was I'm going to kiss Archer. I think I've picked him for the last, 7 kisses because I just need to kiss him. I'm marrying Paul because we all know how much I fell in love with him. And Elle can't have him because she's not here, so we can't fight over it. And I'm doing Hawk because we all know that man is like the orgasm king. So, Liv, I'm curious to hear who you're going to do.
Oh, this is so flipping hard.
I know.
All right. I'm going to kiss Tristan from The Air He Breathes. I just want to kiss that beard. I'm not a beard person, but I really want to kiss his beard. I'm going to marry Alec. I always have to marry him. He always has to be in there somewhere. But, he just has to be in there. Somewhere in this picture, he has to be there. Then I'm going to divorce Alec and marry Paul, and then I'm going to do Hawk.
Oh my God.
Sorry. Not really sorry at all.
Sorry, not sorry.
Hashtag sorry, not sorry.
So, wait, who are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing Hawk. Hello. Triple time orgasms. Holla at you, girl.
I know. We gotta make him real. We totally gotta make him real.
I know. I gotta revisit that book again.
Yes. All right. Well, guess what?
That wraps it up, right?
Yeah, that was like the quickest podcast in history. Oh, I do want to show everybody, probably next week, hopefully if it gets there in time. I have to still get it to Liv, and I have to get it to Babs because she was away. You know, that bitch was in Hawaii. Look at our shirts.
We got shirts.
Backwards.
No, it reads right to me.
It reads right to you? Okay. Home of the erection selection, baby. So, yeah, we'll be wearing uniforms next time. Oh, and we have some really cool, what are we doing? What's that thing that Elle said? I keep forgetting the type.
We are fleshing the format. We are doing a Book Boyfriend podcast after dark, or a Book Boyfriend podcast, let's just drink some wine and talk to my bitches.
Exactly.
So you know how usually you get 2 episodes throughout the month. You might be getting 4, maybe sometimes 5, maybe sometimes a little bit more in between, where we just sit here, drink some wine, complain about our husbands, talk about our kids, complain about our dogs, talk about a book we're reading, and gossip. You guys are actually going to get to see the behind the scenes where we kind of make fun of Barb for thinking that Orange is gullible if you say it really slow. Or we're going to fight with Elizabeth over the books that she wants to claim as hers, but they're really not. And, you know, when Jess's kids are behind her, and we're going to do things like that, you know, what we are really all about, our real life.
You caught that, right? You caught Julia.
Yeah, Julia in the background. So if you are watching this and you're not listening to it on iTunes, if you're watching it on YouTube.com, you will see Jess's little daughter just right behind her. So we're real life. This is how we are. This is what we do. So you'll get to see a taste of us.
This is how we roll.
Always.
But yeah, so that's basically it. As always, if you have any suggestions, we are always up for them. Sometimes you don't even hear about a book, and then you read it, and you're like, where the hell has that author been? Because she's amazing. So we'd love to hear from you. Don't forget to join the group. It's just so much easier and more intimate for us to share on there, because the Facebook page, that Mark Zuckerberg is a jerk and hides everything from everybody. And that's that. So wrapping it up. We hope to see everybody back for next week, so you don't miss anybody's faces. Then we do everybody tribute. And that's basically it. That's all she wrote. That's it for tonight. And bye, Felicia.
Bye, Felicia. Bye, everyone.
Thanks for joining us. You can find out who will be on upcoming shows and what books we'll be discussing, as well as more about our hosts at www.bookboyfriendpodcast.com. See you next time when we add another boyfriend to the ranks.